I think you are correct there. Let's take a look at the PulseChain ecosystem, of course, which also has been doing really well over the last couple of weeks. So we do have Pulse up to 4 zeros and a 647 right now. We are dipping a little bit as we get on the air. Tuesday night, remember we used to do this on Tuesday night. We would get the customary dip every single Tuesday. So
Yeah.
there you go. It's locked in. PulseX has pulled back a little bit over the last couple of days after it showed like really its all-time best strength against Pulse over the last few days, getting its ratio down below. It was at like 1.46 Pulse X per pulse or something like that. So it's right below 4 zeros and a 4. Incentive token, quite a pullback as well, 244. It was up over $3 the other day. Hex is at about 2 pennies even, and eHex at 00284 right now. So a healthy pullback after a really nice run up. But yeah, things have looked very bullish over the last couple of days. You know, some people have been like, in recent weeks, like, well, Bitcoin's running. How come our stuff isn't running? Like nothing else, you know, we're not running and everything else in crypto is. That couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, all you got to do is look up and down some of these tokens that have been around like since the last cycle, even new ones as well. Like I look up and down like the top 50 and I'm looking at like Polygon and Polkadot and some of these coins. And it's like they're mired in, I mean, they may never reach their previous all-time highs, like, you know, and who knows? I mean, like, obviously you could say the same about eHex. We don't know if eHex is going to get to 56 cents this cycle, but you could just say, well, it's a new Hex, whatever. But a lot of these other tokens out there are really struggling, and there hasn't been like an alt season mania in earnest yet. So for the people that have been saying that, oh, it's just PulseChain, I think they're totally wrong. Not only that, but there's so many other things happening with PulseChain, which we're going to get to, obviously, that make it unbelievably unique to all these VC grift chains that are out there. So anyway, yeah, what do you make of where we're at on the chart here?
Well, it's funny. I mean, you know, we've doubled since September. So, I mean, it's not blowing up like crazy, but again, that was our pretty much bottom. And, you know, it's been a healthy rise. Everything is moving accordingly. And we know that. We have always talked about it happens with Bitcoin, it happens with Ethereum. And then, you know, as these things slowly play in an upward trend, you know, all the money, people take profits out of those main coins and go into altcoins. And that's when I think we'll see the influx of our crazy runs. Not to mention, you know, once the price of Ethereum goes up, that wallet that may have a couple $1 billion in it could spend some money too. So, you know, obviously that's not a plan. Don't rely on that, but just the general market in itself, that's how it works. It, you know, it's been a while since we've talked about this topic, but the majority of gains are a very short time of this whole 4-year crypto cycle. Things happen very, very quickly. And it's just a matter of you being in the right place at the right time and putting yourself into a good position to kind of reap those rewards. You know, people that sit around and complain that it hasn't gone anywhere, you know, again, it's doubled in 2 months, or, you know, a little over 2 months. That's not bad. Where are you gonna get that kind of return? Now, obviously you had to buy the bottom and you know, but I still foresee a lot of good things coming. This is going to be a slower uptick until we get into the heat of next year. I'm thinking, you know, at least until April, we could probably stay on this trajectory before things start to go a little bit more crazy. So, yeah, I mean, looking good. You know, Pulse, they're all looking very similar. When you kind of zoom in on the current trend, they're all trending about the same. You know, I think it's because of obviously the liquidity that's tied. Now, incentive has done more chopping around than anything. Let's look at it this way. Yeah, versus USD. I mean, yeah. So, you know, it's kind of held flat, which isn't a bad thing, especially if it's one of those tokens that people are selling. So, I mean, there's clearly buyers there. It's just not as heavy as you'd like to see. People aren't purchasing the incentive like they possibly could down the road once they realize how scarce it is. Let's take a look at Hex. Hex is one of the only ones that's a little bit different because it had a little bit more of a run up here.
Yeah.
So it's on definitely a different trajectory. You had your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. This one could easily get to, shoot, I don't know. I think this third wave could probably get us up around 10 cents. It's possible.
Well,
So
clearly something's been going on with Hex that hasn't been going on with the other core tokens over the last couple of months.
right.
I mean, by
Well,
looking at that, yeah.
there's different mechanics with Hex too. I mean, there's the lockup feature where, the staking amounts are going up, the holder amounts are going up. It's still growing. So that all plays a part when coins get taken off the market and less of them are available for sale. That's going to happen with PulseX. Specifically those two, there's still a lot of liquidity out there. There's still a lot of tokens floating around by a lot of people that sacrificed. So you can't forget about that.